I'm Boba. It's my first year as a Kesson counselor, and today we're doing baking with Boba. We're going to be making what I call mud cupcakes. Basically, they're vanilla cupcakes with cream cheese frosting, Oreos, and gummy worms. So to start off with the base of the actual cupcake, you'll need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of milk. I'm using almond milk here, but you're welcome to use whatever milk you have or want. We have 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 2 large eggs, and 1 cup of water. And I'll definitely be listing these all out later. And we'll get to the ingredients for the frosting in a little bit. And in addition to all this, you'll also need 2 bowls. For the mixing, obviously your cupcake tin or whatever you have to make it in. I have little cupcake cups, like the baking cups, and either an electric mixer or a whisk or whatever you have, and a spoon or ice cream scoop to scoop in your batter after. So first I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven to, I'm following my recipe right here, but first I'm gonna preheat my oven to 350 degrees. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so now we're gonna start off first with putting together the dry ingredients. So you're gonna take your flour, put that in the bowl, make sure it doesn't go everywhere. Then we're gonna take our sugar right over here. Then we're gonna take our baking powder and our salt and add it to our bowl. And then I'm just gonna take the little whisk and just whisk it around, just to get it kind of all combined together. All right, now we're gonna take our smaller bowl. Mine is right here. All right, we're gonna take our smaller bowl and we're gonna start off with the milk. So this is all for our wet ingredients, so start off with the milk. Then we're gonna take the vegetable oil, put it in. Ooh, that looks cool. Then we're gonna take our vanilla extract, put that in. And then last is our eggs. So just add in your 2 eggs. Alright, and we're just gonna whisk that all together. It doesn't have to be super, like, just make sure it's decently combined, because we're gonna do the real combining when we combine the wet and the dry mixtures, so don't worry about it like too much. Right. All right, now I'm gonna get out my mixer thingy, and put it together so we can mix our wet and dry ingredients together, and to just make it a little faster. But if you don't have one of these, don't worry, you could definitely do it with a whisk or a fork. Either one gets the job done. So go ahead and put in our wet ingredients. And then on low to medium speed, we're just gonna go ahead and mix it. Try not to get the flour everywhere. And then we can take our muffin tin or cupcake tin, whatever you call it. Take your baking cups. And I have these little cute ones with like little dots, little polka dots all over them. So adorable. I'm just gonna be making 6 for right now. I'll just fill those. Okay, so as I fill my cupcake tins, I'm going to talk, cupcake tins. I'll talk a little bit about why I joined Kesson. But before I start, I should mention, just fill it up like halfway with the batter. Yeah, anyways. So I first found out about Kesson during my freshman orientation. My orientation aide was actually Bull. And so he had mentioned Kesson and that he was like part of it. But at that time, all I really knew was that it was a camp during the summer, and that was it. Um, so it wasn't until my second semester of sophomore year, so this past school year, this past like February, that I had heard more about it. And it was Beat who sent a text in the LASU group chat, and LASU stands for Latin American Student Union. It's basically just an organization that creates a safe space for Latinx students on campus. Yeah, and just allows you to like have kind of a home away from home with like your culture and everything, which I really love. So anyways, in our group me, which is what we use for like texting about events and stuff like that, Beats had sent out a message about Camp Kesem, basically explaining that he likes it, that he like loves being a part of it, and that he just like would like to see more Latinx counselors involved with Kesem, just to, you know, support Latinx students and Latinx campers, Latina campers who come to camp. And so I think that was kind of really like the push factor that I was like, oh, that's so cool, like I wonder what that's about. And so I went to just like do, I guess, like research on Kesem and kind of just be like, what is this? You know? So I ended up just going on the internet and just like looking up what Kesem was and what it like, what it stands for, what the mission is about. And I just, you know, really got inspired and really thought it was a great opportunity for me to meet new people, but also just like meet the younger generation, if you will. I absolutely love, you know, being with kids. I'm a nanny. I tutor for a bunch of K through 12. And this is about like my 4th year that I'm doing that. So it's just really been a pleasure being able to like learn from one another, and just being able to kind of be a mentor, which I've always loved. So I think that was another reason why I decided to apply to Kesem. So I ended up applying, I got an interview, and well, here I am. And so it has just been a pleasure, you know, being able to meet all the campers, being able to hang out with y'all, being able to, you know, hear your stories, hear your high lows and buffaloes, about, and just get to know you guys. And I think the other big thing is like just getting to meet all the other counselors who are just like such sweet people, and just like acknowledging and knowing that like regardless if I know them on a more personal basis per se, or if I know them really well, like I know they're gonna be there for me. And so I think like just that culture and that whole like atmosphere was another big driving factor for me wanting to join and like just wanting to apply. And yeah, it has been so much fun these past few days being at cabin chats and just interacting with everyone. And I can't wait to have, you know, camp in person and, you know, see you all face to face. And yeah, just like share stories, vibe, and, you know, just have a good time. All right, I finished filling my cupcakes. I'm gonna go put them in the oven. Yeah. All right. Okay, so our cupcakes have finished baking. These are like half of them, or like 1/3. And now we're gonna make the frosting. So like I said, it's cream cheese frosting, and then we're gonna put like Oreo for the dirt and gummy worms on them. So for the frosting, you're gonna need 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter, make sure it's softened, 8 ounces of cream cheese, also make sure it's softened, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 4 cups of powdered sugar. And then I have my Oreos. I've separated them, and we're gonna incorporate the cream into the frosting just because I don't want to waste anything. And then we have our gummy worms, which by the way are my favorite candy ever. So in a smaller bowl, you're gonna start off with the butter. Should I go ahead and open that? Butter. And then you're gonna get the cream cheese. And then we're gonna add them together. Just scoop it out. All right, that was pretty clean. All right, and now we're just gonna mix these two together until they're well combined. So I'm just gonna mash it down a little bit. Put this in there as well. Great. gonna add the vanilla extract, the salt, and the sugar, or sorry, yeah, just the vanilla extract and the salt. So we're gonna do that, and spoon. And the vanilla. And very thin and stir that again. I'm also going to go ahead and add the Oreo filling that we have. What I'm going to do is add this mixture to our powdered sugar. And I'm going to start, well, actually, let me just do that first. And then I'll continue with my steps. And so basically what I'm gonna do, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fold in the powdered sugar with the butter and cream cheese mixture so that the powdered sugar doesn't completely go everywhere. Okay, so now I'm just gonna use this mixer to mix it on low. And try not to get powdered sugar everywhere. So next you want to grab a Ziploc bag. And you're basically gonna go ahead and put your Oreos in there. And you can grab like a rolling pin, really anything that's like able to mash stuff. Doesn't really matter what it is. I don't know where the rolling pin is. Here is our rolling pin. So I'm just gonna use a rolling pin. And I'm gonna go ahead and basically just mash it. And just mash this up as best you can. Be good enough. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I'll pour it back into here. Just be very careful with this, because you don't want to get it everywhere. That would be very bad. So don't do that. All right, so now we have our little dirt and our gummy worms. So now we're gonna go ahead and start frosting. Yay, I love frosting cupcakes. I'm not that good at it, so please don't come for me. But this is about having fun, so it doesn't matter if we're good or bad at it, right? So that's okay. All right, so you could use a piping bag if you wanted to. I'm just gonna use a knife and just go ahead and do it, because sometimes you just gotta throw yourself into stuff, you know? Actually, don't take my advice on that. Don't do that. So yeah, just do that. Ding, 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 ding. So we're just gonna frost each one and then we'll go ahead and do the decoration. What should we talk about while I frost these? I don't know. What should we talk about? Oh, I can talk about like camp activities. It's like not Camp Kesem related though. It's like camps that I've done outside of, like when I was young. So I guess my first one, so I go to youth camp every year for like my local church. And back in like 2017, I think it was, oh, we should call this segment Story Time with Boba. Okay, anyways, so basically, back in like 2017, 2016, I believe, we went camping out in Shenandoah at this like park, or it was like a campground that like with cabins that like a family owned over there. And so it's an annual trip that the youth go on, and so that year I basically planned out the whole thing, and it was a lot of fun. And I mean I love camp, so obviously I was like enjoying it a lot. But we went on a hike, because we go on a hike every Saturday morning, like that's kind of like tradition. So we went on a hike, and on that hike, like I remember, because my dad was leading the hike, and mind you, my dad is like pretty athletic, he's pretty built, and so so obviously he was with like a bunch of like teenagers, like young kids, right? Like not experienced hikers, if you will, right? Like not even nearly close to that. And so we were all hiking, and I remember I was just like looking down at my feet, watching where I was going, because I was like really scared of tripping, because it was like really rocky. So I was doing that, and it was a group of me, two of my friends, and like my sister were there, and we were kind of like at the back of the line. And we were all kind of just chatting. I was looking down at my feet, and next thing I know, I look up, and my dad, like, him and the rest of the group weren't there. And we were like, where'd they go? And so we were kind of scared for a little bit that, like, we were lost in, like, the wilderness, because we just couldn't find any of them. And we were just really scared. So we were scared that we were gonna, like, end up there forever. But there was, like, a map of the trail, so we just followed that. And then when we got to the camp, like back to the campground, we got back safe. I'm still alive, obviously, so it wasn't like horrible. But we got back to the camp, and I remember there was like a group, it was just like a group of like these teenage girls and guys just yelling at my dad because he wasn't like running the hike, but as I said, he was just like, he's just very athletic. So he was kind of just like really like, he was like fast walking the whole way through the hiking trail, and they were just so angry, and I remember he just felt so bad. But that was just a funny camp memory, because I mean it was like his first hike here in like America, because he used to hike a lot in El Salvador, which is where we're from, but it was like his first hike here in a while, and so he was having the time of his life, you know, and then all these kids were just like yelling at him, so he felt bad. But it was just really funny how we almost got lost. But anyways, yeah, so that's one. I also mentioned this to my group, but I went to Alaska a few years ago, and so I went there for like conservation work. I was like helping the Prince William Sound Science Center, just like fix up some stuff over there and just like learn about science. It was kind of like a summer camp, and I think they're still having it, so if anyone is like interested, just go to like the Prince William Sound Science Center website, and they should have information about like their summer program. And they're amazing people, so sweet, and I absolutely loved my time there. But anyways, we were doing some work at a nearby river, just restoring basically the trees near the river to help prevent erosion of that area. And we were there just basically replanting trees, and replanting like their what is it, like, I don't know, like just trees, and they were like small trees. I don't know how, like what you would call them, but replanting little small trees. And like I said, it was like on a river, like on a riverbed essentially. And so we were on one side of the river, just, you know, doing our thing, you know, restoring the environment and all, having fun. And then next thing I know, because it was, okay, mind you, it was like, I think it was like seven teens, with like 2 program directors. And so we were all just doing our thing, right? And next thing I know, one of my program directors comes up to us and is like, guys, like, be quiet. And we were kind of scared because we're in the middle of the wilderness at this point, like the Alaskan wilderness, right? Like you never, like we were kind of scared to begin with, like what was going to happen to us. Okay, before I continue with my story, you're gonna take the cupcake and you're kind of just gonna dump it in the Oreo, okay, like this. Anyways, so we didn't know what was like really going on, but they were like, oh, like be quiet, be quiet. So they were telling us to be quiet, and we were all wondering what was going on, right? And we were all kind of scared, but we were like, oh, like what's going on? What's wrong? And just asked them because obviously we were concerned. And so they told us, they're like, guy, like we think there's a bear on the other side. You should have seen our faces. We were so scared. I definitely love nature. I love it. I have never been close to like a bear per se, nor have I ever wanted to like directly interact with a bear, like a grizzly bear, you know. And we were actually trained when we got to Alaska. We were like trained on like what to do in a bear situation, like if a bear were to come attack us, essentially. And so they told us what to do. Not that I remember, but they definitely taught us. And trust me, in that instant, all our knowledge went down the drain, like out the window. Like we had no clue what to do. But we basically, they told us, there's a bear on the other side, just watch out. And it was just, yeah, it was so scary. But from what I remember about that incident, it just like the bear was like, we did see the bear. I ended up seeing the bear. Thankfully it was like across the river, so like it wasn't close to us, or like we were not in immediate danger. But the bear ended up leaving us alone. Like it was just doing its own thing, so it wasn't like nothing bad happened, thank God. And so yeah, that was that story. But that's the closest thing I've been to a bear encounter. All right, so here are the cupcakes we have so far. Next, we're just gonna add little gummy worms as our actually, maybe we'll cut it in half so that it's easier to place. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But honestly, I love that trip was awesome, amazing. If anyone ever is like thinking about going to Alaska, definitely go. Definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I think also just to do like science up there was like awesome. I'm also like a biology major, so I think that also really sparked like my just enjoyment of biology and just like wanting to do work with biology. And I also went to a glacier. I mentioned that also to my group. We went to Sheridan Glacier in Cordova. Cordova is where we were staying at the time, and so that was a lot of fun, and I definitely did. I enjoyed that a lot. And yeah, so if anyone ever wants to go, definitely Boba approved. Definitely go. It's definitely a fun time. Okay, and we are about done with our cupcakes. Here's the final product. Oh my God, I almost dropped that. Okay, well, you'll see it in this part of the video. They're so cute. I hope yours turned out great. I hope you enjoyed having some baking with boba time. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your camp. And thank you so much for being here with Baking with me. And yeah, have a great day. Bye, guys. Next. Oh, haha. Let me add a Ziploc bags. Oh no. All right. Delicious. So good. Boba approved. All right. Oh, that's what we're doing. All right.